The void pulsed with the quiet hum of the asterisk Imperial Sentinel. Commander Rax stood on the bridge, his 6 eyes scanning the main view screen. Stars stretched out, countless and cold. His chitinous fingers, thick and jointed, twitched with a familiar boredom. It was another routine patrol. The sector had been clear for 1,000 cycles. The Empire ruled this arm of the galaxy. Nothing happened here, nothing ever happened. A low chime broke the silence. It came from the sensor station. Rax turned his head, his mandibles clicking. "Report," he rumbled. The junior sensor technician, a nervous young Krell, stammered. "Commander, readings are anomalous. Very anomalous." Rax took 2 heavy steps towards the station. His multifaceted eyes narrowed on the Krell's console. The Krell's skin, usually a healthy emerald green, had faded to a sickly yellow-green. "Speak clearly, Krell." The Krell swallowed hard. "Energy signatures, high, Commander, very high and unknown, unlike anything in our databases." Rax scoffed. "A rogue asteroid, a solar flare, this sector is classified. No other species would dare." The Krell shook his head, his antennae quivering. "No, Commander, these readings, they are structural, too coherent for natural phenomena, and the energy output, it's massive." "Impossible, perhaps." Rax leaned closer to the console. The holographic display showed a faint, almost invisible blip. It was small, but the energy signature surrounding it was off the charts. It was not just high, it was utterly alien. It did not fit any known energy type, not even for ancient precursors. "Magnify," Rax ordered. The Krell technician's hands flew over the controls. The blip grew larger on the view screen, but still it was blurry, indistinct. Yet the energy readings remained. They screamed across the console, a silent alarm bell. "Still too distant, Commander, but the signature, it is growing stronger, and it is moving, fast." Rax felt a prickle of unease on his scaled hide. This was not normal. This was not natural. He had never seen such a signature, not in his 500 cycles of service, not in any archive he had ever studied. "Set alert status to yellow," Rax commanded, his voice a little less confident now. "Prepare for evasive maneuvers. Inform Fleet Command. Immediate priority, do not delay." The Krell technician saluted, his hand still trembling. "Yes, Commander." A cold dread settled in Rax's gut. The Sentinel was a standard patrol cruiser. It was built for routine. It was not built for impossible, and whatever was out there, it was impossible. He stared at the blip. It was coming closer. It was coming fast. The silent, cold vacuum of space suddenly felt very, very small, and very, very dangerous. Days turned into a blur of frantic communication for the Imperial High Command. Admiral Valerius, his face a mask of stone, paced the strategy room aboard the Imperial Starbase Aegis Prime Asterisk. His 4 arms were clasped behind his back. Each of his 6 eyes were fixed on the central holographic projection. It showed the Asterisk Sentinel Asterisk-S last recorded data. The blip now gone, but the energy readings remained. They pulsed, a phantom of the impossible. "A glitch," Valerius grumbled, his voice like grinding stone. "It must be a glitch or a sensor malfunction." The Sentinel was old. General Kyler, a seasoned strategist with a reputation for caution, cleared his throat. "Admiral, 5 more patrol ships in that sector reported similar, if fainter, energy signatures, all within hours of the Asterisk Sentinel Asterisk-S last transmission. And then silence from all of them." Valerius stopped pacing. He turned, his mandibles flaring slightly. "Silence, you mean lost contact?" Kyler nodded gravely. "All 5 ships, gone, no distress signals, nothing but the fading remnants of those bizarre energy readings. It is as if they simply vanished." A low murmur spread through the room. Senior officers, typically stoic and composed, shifted uncomfortably. A species or entity capable of making 5 patrol cruisers vanish without a trace was unheard of. The Empire had ruled for 10,000 cycles. No rival power possessed such technology. No known species could perform such a feat. "Impossible," Valerius repeated, but his voice lacked conviction. He pounded a fist lightly on the holographic table. "We have mapped every star system, catalogued every intelligent species. We know everything. This is an aberration." Dr. Alara, a small, unassuming Xylosian in her crisp white research uniform, stepped forward. Her large, liquid black eyes held a spark of something beyond fear. It was curiosity. "Admiral, if I may, my team has been cross-referencing ancient archives. There are faint references. Myths, perhaps. Whispers of a species from a distant, uncharted arm of the galaxy. They called themselves humans." Valerius snorted. "Humans, fables from the ancient archives, stories told to hatchlings. Primitive apes if they existed at all. They never developed spaceflight." Ilara remained calm. Our data suggests otherwise, Admiral. Some of the oldest texts, those not purged during the Great Consolidation, describe them as adaptable, uniquely so, and aggressive. Highly intelligent despite their small stature and fragile forms. General Kyler frowned. Aggressive, yet they vanish our ships without a trace. That does not sound like aggression. That sounds like surgical removal. Valerius dismissed Ilara with a wave of his hand. Fables, my team needs concrete data. Send a scout fleet, not just patrol ships, something with a combat escort. Find this glitch. Find it and destroy it. Ilara watched Valerius. She saw his arrogance. She saw his fear. She saw the Empire's weakness, their belief in their own perfect knowledge. It was a dangerous flaw. She walked back to her console. She typed rapidly, calling up data that had been suppressed for millennia. She had always found these myths fascinating. Now they were terrifyingly real. A small, almost imperceptible symbol appeared on her screen. An ancient, fractured symbol of a circle with a line through it. It was the only known image associated with the humans. And it was nothing like any imperial design. It filled her with a sense of wonder and dread. What if they had not vanished? What if they had simply been ignored? 1,000 light-years away, Captain Eva Rostova stood on the bridge of the Pathfinder Asterisk. Her ship, sleek and dark, drifted silently through the void. It was not large by imperial standards, but its capabilities far exceeded anything the galaxy had ever seen. Its hull was a mosaic of adaptive stealth plating. Its drives hummed with a quiet power that defied conventional physics. "Status report, Commander Jax," she said, her voice calm, almost melodic. She ran a hand through her short, practical hair. Her eyes, a deep hazel, were fixed on the tactical display. Jax, a burly man with a scar running across his left brow, straightened from his console. "Sensors show faint, distant energy signatures, Captain, consistent with Imperial patrol ships. 3 more have entered the outer detection range. They're scanning but not detecting us, not yet." Eva nodded. "Good, maintain cloaking field, keep power signatures minimal. We do not want to be found, not yet. We are explorers, not invaders," Jax grunted. "Easy for you to say, Captain. We've been running for 100 years from these Imperials. You can call it exploration. I call it finding a new hiding spot." Eva turned to face him, a faint smile playing on her lips. "We are finding new possibilities, Jax, new resources, new homes. Humanity has been through enough. We build, we do not destroy unless forced." Jax shrugged, but there was a flicker of agreement in his eyes. He remembered the old stories. The exodus, the flight from the home world, the reason for their silence, their secrecy. He remembered the elders speaking of the vast, uncaring galaxy. The need for strength, the need for caution. Ensign Lena, a young woman with bright, curious eyes, looked up from her engineering station. Her fingers danced across a complex holographic interface. "Captain, I am picking up some odd readings from their communication arrays. They are speculating about us, using very primitive terms. Glitch, malfunction, mythical species." A ripple of quiet laughter went through the bridge crew. Eva's smile widened. "So they believe we are not real. Good, let them believe it. It gives us time." "Captain," Jax said, his voice more serious now. "We are getting closer to the Cathar Nebula. That was our target destination, was it not? The one with the faint energy signature that matches our ancestral data archives." Eva nodded. "Correct, the nebula holds a key, a potential new energy source, or perhaps a message." She looked out at the star field, her gaze distant. She carried the weight of every human survivor on her shoulders. They were few, scattered across hidden deep space settlements. The Pathfinder was their hope, their only true warship, though it was designed for exploration and defense, not conquest. Its advanced systems were the culmination of centuries of secret development. They had learned to be quiet. They had learned to be strong. They had learned to be invisible, until now. The Asterisk Imperial Vanguard Task Force, led by Admiral Valerius himself, moved through the void. It comprised 2 heavy cruisers, 4 destroyers, and a screen of half a dozen frigates. Their weapons were charged. Their sensors were sweeping the darkness. Valerius stood on the bridge of his flagship, the invincible Asterisk. His mandibles were clenched. He would not tolerate this mystery. He would eradicate it. General Kyler stood beside him, observing the sensor readings. "Still nothing concrete, Admiral. The energy signatures are gone. It is as if the source simply blinked out of existence." Valerius snarled. "Nothing blinks out of existence, General, unless it is destroyed, or it cloaked. But no known cloaking technology can hide a signature of that magnitude." Dr. Ilara, who had insisted on accompanying the task force, spoke quietly from her research station. Admiral, consider the possibility that their technology is beyond our current understanding. If these humans are indeed real, and they possess such capabilities, then all our assumptions about galactic power dynamics are false. Valerius ignored her. He was focused on the tactical display. Sweep pattern Gamma 7, increase sensor sensitivity by 10%, fire probe drones, I want every cubic meter of this void scanned. The fleet spread out, their powerful sensor arrays painting the darkness. Days passed. The tension on the invincible S bridge grew thicker with each passing hour. The silence of the void was oppressive. Then a new alert. A junior sensor officer, a young Sylvan named Nara, gasped. Admiral. We have a contact, direct ahead, it just appeared. No, it was there all along, our sensors just ignored it. Valeria spun around. Impossible, what is its signature, what species? Nara stammered. Unknown, Admiral, size small. Combat rating, unknown, but its energy output, it is off the charts. It is the same as the previous readings. On the main view screen, a dark, sleek ship shimmered into full visibility. It was smaller than even the Imperial destroyers, yet it radiated an aura of immense, quiet power. It was like a predatory fish in a pond of clumsy crustaceans. Valeria stared. It was undeniably a ship, it was not a glitch. It was real, and it was unlike anything he had ever seen. Its lines were fluid, almost organic, no visible weapon emplacements, no discernible thrusters, just a dark, silent presence. Open a hailing frequency, Valerius roared. Identify yourselves, you are in Imperial space, respond immediately. The void remained silent. The dark ship did not move, it simply hung there, a silent challenge. Fire a warning shot, Valerius commanded. Beam weapon low power. Do not destroy it, just make it respond. A destroyer, the Thunderer *, aimed its forward energy projector. A beam of golden light lanced out, missing the dark ship by mere meters. It illuminated the ship's dark hull for a fleeting moment. It was smooth, seamless, it drank the light. Still, the dark ship did not react. No evasive maneuvers, no shields, nothing, it was utterly still. Valerius's scales bristled with anger. This was insolence, this was an affront to the Empire. Full power, he bellowed. Target their engines, cripple them, I want answers. General Kyler hesitated. Admiral, perhaps a more cautious approach. We still do not know what this is capable of. Valerius glared at him. Caution is for the weak, General. This is defiance, and defiance must be met with overwhelming force. On the Pathfinder *S bridge, Eva Rostova watched the Imperial ships on the tactical display. They are angry, she observed calmly. They do not like things they do not understand. Jack snorted. They do not like anything that is not Imperial. Lena, at her engineering station, looked up. Captain, the warning shot was quaint. Their weapon technology is centuries behind ours. Eva's lips curved upward slightly. Indeed, and now they are preparing to fire for effect. Jax, prepare for evasive action. Lena, maintain stealth. Do not give them anything to lock onto. But Captain, Jax said, if they fire a full volley, even if it is outdated, it could damage the hull plating or reveal our shield frequency. Eva shook her head. We will not activate shields. Not yet, we will give them a taste of true maneuverability, a silent dance. Her eyes sparkled with a hint of mischief. Let them chase shadows. The Imperial fleet opened fire. A volley of energy beams, plasma bursts, and kinetic projectiles surged through the void towards the Pathfinder *. The space around the human ship lit up like a supernova, but the beams never connected. Just as the volley was about to strike, the Pathfinder shimmered. It did not move away, it simply shifted, not a jump, not a warp. It was a slight, almost imperceptible blur, like a ripple in water. The Imperial volley passed through the space it had occupied a microsecond before, harmlessly exploding in the emptiness beyond. Then, the Pathfinder reappeared in the exact same spot, its dark form unblemished. It was as if it had stepped out of reality and then back in again. On the invincible S bridge, Valerius's 4 arms dropped to his sides. His mandibles gaped. What was that? Nara, the young Sylvan sensor officer, shivered. Admiral, their signature, it briefly ceased to exist, not cloaked, not jumped, it simply was not there, then it returned. General Kyler's eyes were wide with disbelief. A short-range phase shift, impossible, that technology is theoretical, even for precursors. Valerius felt a cold sweat prickle his scales. This was not a primitive species. This was something far beyond their understanding. This was something terrifying, he swallowed hard. Maintain fire, they cannot do that indefinitely, they cannot. But even as he spoke, doubt gnawed at his confidence. The Pathfinder danced. Volley after volley of Imperial weaponry missed. The dark ship would shimmer, vanish for a fraction of a second and reappear, always unharmed. Always in the same place, mocking their futile attempts. "Admiral, they are not using shields," Nara cried out, her voice filled with awe and terror. "They are simply avoiding impact. Their control systems must be beyond anything we have ever conceived." Valerius felt a knot of dread tighten in his gut. They were not fighting, they were demonstrating their complete superiority without even firing a single shot. The implications were staggering. They were not facing a glitch. They were facing a power beyond their wildest nightmares. Dr. Alara watched the display, a strange mixture of fear and triumph in her eyes. "Admiral," she said, her voice quiet but firm. "I believe the ancient texts were not fables. These are the humans, and they are far more than we ever imagined." Valerius turned to her, his 6 eyes burning with a desperate fury. "What do they want, Doctor? Why are they here?" Alara shook her head. "I do not know, Admiral, but they are not attacking. They are simply showing us that they cannot be attacked, and that, I believe, is their first message." The Pathfinder *S silent dance continued for another hour. The Imperial fleet exhausted its weapon banks. Missiles, energy beams, plasma cannons, all were rendered useless by the human ship's impossible maneuvers. Valerius finally slumped into his command chair, defeated. His face was pale. His pride shattered. "Cease fire," he rasped, his voice hoarse. "Cease fire immediately." The Imperial ships, their weapon conduits glowing faintly from overuse, fell silent. The Pathfinder remained motionless, a dark, silent sentinel. Then a low hum resonated through the invincible *S-comm system. It was not a language, it was a pure tone. Then a voice, calm and clear, spoke in perfect, unaccented Imperial Basic. "Greetings, we are the human vessel Pathfinder *. We mean no harm, we are on a mission of exploration. We ask for safe passage." Valerius stared at the main view screen. The voice, it was smooth, confident, not arrogant but certainly not subservient. Who are you?" Valerius managed to stammer. "Why are you in Imperial space?" "How did you avoid our weapons?" the voice responded. "We are humans. We are here because this sector contains points of interest for our mission. Our methods of travel and defense are simply advanced." There was a slight pause. "We reiterate we mean no harm, but we will defend ourselves if provoked." Valerius felt a cold fury mixed with utter helplessness. They had displayed overwhelming power, then offered a calm, almost polite declaration of peace. It was disorienting. It was a power play of the highest order. He glanced at Alara. She simply watched the screen, a thoughtful expression on her face. "Admiral," General Kyler whispered, "they did not fire a single shot. Yet they defeated our entire task force. What do we do?" Valerius slowly straightened in his chair. His mind raced. This was not a military threat in the conventional sense. This was an entirely new variable. And it threw everything they knew into chaos. "Open a direct channel to the Imperial throne world," he commanded, his voice tight. "I need to speak to the Emperor, immediately. This changes everything." He looked back at the Pathfinder *. It was still there, silent, waiting, a dark enigma in the heart of the Empire. The news of the Pathfinder *S encounter spread like wildfire through the Imperial hierarchy. On the throne world, deep within the obsidian walls of the Imperial Palace, Emperor Xyler III sat on his throne. His scales, usually vibrant with imperial purple, were a dull gray. His 6 eyes flickered nervously. Around him, his inner council debated fiercely. High Advisor Korvax, a sleek reptilian creature known for his aggressive policies, slammed a fist on the ornate table. "This is an invasion, a direct insult. We must retaliate. Unleash the Grand Fleet, scorch their homeworld if they have one." Chancellor Xylos, a more pragmatic, older figure, shook his head. "Korvax, you saw the reports. Their ship is small. It did not fire a single shot. Yet it rendered an entire task force useless. We do not even know if they have a homeworld. They spoke of points of interest in our space. We have no intel on their capabilities beyond that one vessel. A full-scale attack would be reckless." Emperor Xyler listened, his mandibles twitching. He had never faced such an unknown. The Empire had always been the apex predator. Now a new, silent, untouchable force had appeared. "Dr. Alara," the Emperor finally spoke, his voice gravelly. "You were there. What is your assessment?" Alara stepped forward, her small Xylosian form seeming even more fragile in the Grand Chamber. "Your Majesty, my assessment is that their technological superiority is profound. Their defensive capabilities defy our understanding of physics. More importantly, their strategic intent appears to be non-aggressive, at least for now. They seek passage for exploration." High Advisor Korvac scoffed. Exploration in our territory, that is a ruse. They are scouting, they are mapping our defenses. Alara turned to him. Perhaps, but consider their behavior. If they were truly invaders, they could have destroyed Admiral Valerius's task force. They chose not to. They displayed their power, then offered a peaceful request. This suggests a calculated move. Perhaps they are testing us. Or perhaps they genuinely seek something and wish to avoid conflict. The Emperor leaned forward. And these humans, Doctor, are they truly a myth or a species we overlooked? Alara nodded. Your Majesty, I have been poring over the oldest forbidden archives. There are fragmented accounts of a species from the Pale Arm, a species that vanished from galactic records thousands of cycles ago. They were said to be highly adaptive, resourceful, and in some accounts fiercely compassionate even to their enemies. Korvax laughed. Compassion, a warrior race with compassion, nonsense. Alara ignored him. There are tales of them intervening in conflicts not for conquest but to protect the weak. And they develop technology at an astonishing rate, far faster than any other known species. They were considered a curiosity, then a minor threat, then they simply disappeared from the records. I believe they learned to hide, to survive, to evolve in secret. A tense silence fell over the chamber. The idea of a hidden, rapidly evolving species, one that had been capable of outmaneuvering their best fleet, was a chilling thought. Emperor Xyler rubbed his temples. So what is your recommendation, Doctor? Alara met his gaze. Your Majesty, I recommend we grant them passage, under strict observation, of course. We cannot hope to defeat them with brute force. We must learn from them, understand their motivations, and if they truly are explorers, perhaps we can learn new technologies, new philosophies. Korvax nearly choked. Learn from primitives? Are you mad, Doctor? This is heresy, but the Emperor held up a hand. Dr. Alara's counsel is valuable. General Kyler, what is the military perspective? Kyler, ever cautious, said, Your Majesty, if they are truly as powerful as the reports indicate, then a direct confrontation could be catastrophic. We risk exposing our vulnerabilities to the entire galaxy. Granting passage while carefully monitoring seems the less destructive path, for now. Emperor Xyler stood. He walked to a high window overlooking the bustling throne-world cityscape. The countless lights twinkled below. Contact the Pathfinder, he commanded. Grant them safe passage to the Cathar Nebula. Inform them they will be monitored. But they are to be allowed to complete their mission unhindered. And Dr. Alara, you are to lead a special research division. Your task is to study these humans. Learn everything, their history, their technology, their culture, their vulnerabilities. Alara bowed, as you command, Your Majesty. As she left the chamber, she felt a thrill of excitement. This was a chance to uncover truths long buried, a chance to change the Empire's understanding of the galaxy, but also a deep, unsettling fear. What would humanity reveal, and would the Empire be ready for it? She knew the answer. No, the Empire was not ready, not for true change, not for what was coming. On the Pathfinder asterisk, Eva Ristova received the Imperial message. Safe passage granted, Captain, Lena announced, a look of surprise on her face. Under strict observation, of course. And they want to send a research team to study us. Jack scoffed. Study us? After we just showed them their weapons are useless, they want to poke and prod us like laboratory specimens. Eva smiled, a genuine smile that reached her eyes. It is a victory, Jax, a silent victory. They chose caution over conflict. That is a good first step. She looked at the Cathar Nebula on the tactical display. It shimmered with faint, unfamiliar energy. Prepare to enter the nebula. Maintain cloaking field. We do not want to be *2 visible. Jax nodded, a grudging respect in his eyes. Understood, Captain. Stealth mode engaged. Days later, the Pathfinder ghosted silently into the swirling gases of the Cathar Nebula. The nebula was vast, its colors ranging from deep purples to fiery oranges. Within its heart, the faint energy signature they had been tracking grew stronger. It was like a beacon from a forgotten time. Lena's console chimed softly. Captain, I am detecting a stable energy source. Not a star, not a planet, something artificial. It is old, very, very old. Eva's gaze hardened. This is it, the signal from the Exodus. The one our ancestors recorded before they scattered. This was not just about resources. This was about heritage, about memory, about finding answers that had been lost for 10,000 cycles. Jack stood beside her, his usual cynicism replaced by a quiet intensity. He remembered the stories his grandfather told him, stories of the Great Scattering, of humanity fleeing a galaxy that wanted them dead. Of a desperate search for a new home, a new beginning, the Pathfinder wove through the nebula's dense clouds, its advanced sensors cut through the interference. Suddenly, Lena gasped, "Captain, I have a visual. And it is incredible." On the main view screen, a colossal structure began to resolve itself from the nebula's heart. It was not a ship, it was a station. A massive, derelict station covered in eons of nebular dust and ice. But its design was unmistakable. Human, ancient human. Its form was complex, elegant, and clearly defensive, ringed by what appeared to be vast, non-functional weapon platforms and energy conduits. And at its core, a single flickering light pulsed. Eva felt a lump in her throat. This was not just a station. This was a relic, a monument to what humanity had been, before the scattering, before the silence. "Captain," Lena said, her voice trembling slightly, "I am picking up a data burst. It is a signal from the station. It is using an ancient human frequency. And it is a distress call, faint but clear." Eva stared at the station. "A distress call after 10,000 cycles. Translate it, Lena, immediately." Lena's fingers flew across her console, her face paled. "Captain, it is not a distress call, not exactly. It is a warning." Jax frowned. "A warning. About what?" Lena turned to them, her eyes wide. "It says, to any surviving humans, do not enter, do not activate, the great filter remains, the threat is still active, remain hidden, the enemy searches." Eva felt a chill run down her spine. The great filter, a concept from ancient human history, a theoretical barrier that prevented species from reaching higher levels of galactic civilization. It implied a powerful, unseen force, an enemy. The reason for their long, silent exile. "Captain," Lena continued, her voice barely a whisper. "The station's core energy signature, it is growing, and it is interacting with the nebula's natural energies. It is recharging, and the warning. It is dated. It says it will activate only when certain conditions are met, conditions like the approach of a human vessel." Eva realized with a jolt, this station, it was not just a relic, it was a trap or a self-destruct mechanism. Or a final, desperate defense. And they had just triggered it. Admiral Valerius, back on Aegis Prime, pored over Dr. Alara's latest reports. His scales were still dull, his pride still bruised. The Pathfinder was deep within the Cathar Nebula. Imperial observation ships, cloaked and distant, confirmed its presence. They also confirmed the strange energy fluctuations emanating from the nebula's core. "This great filter," Valerius mused, addressing Alara. "What exactly is it?" Alara looked troubled. "Admiral, the ancient texts are vague, but they imply an external force. A galactic power that saw humanity's rapid development as a threat, and they acted decisively. The great filter was the event that caused the great scattering, the near extinction of humanity. The reason they went into hiding for millennia." Valerius felt a knot of fear in his gut. An enemy capable of nearly wiping out a species as advanced as the humans. "Do these texts mention who this enemy was?" he asked. Alara shook her head. "No, the records are too fragmented or perhaps too dangerous to keep, but the warning implies they are still out there, still searching." General Kyler entered the room, his face grim. "Admiral, sensor reports from the nebula are escalating, that energy signature. It is growing, rapidly. It is unlike anything we have ever seen." Valerius rose. "Is the Pathfinder activating something?" Alara's eyes widened. "Perhaps. Or perhaps the station is reacting to their presence. If it is a defense system or a last resort against this great filter." She trailed off, a chilling thought forming in her mind. What if the humans, in their attempts to hide, left behind a beacon, a warning system that activates when they are rediscovered? And what if that system draws the attention of this ancient enemy? The Emperor Xyler, receiving the same reports on the throne world, was in a rare state of agitation. His imperial purple scales seemed to ripple with anxiety. High Advisor Korvax pressed his advantage. "Your Majesty, this is precisely why we should have destroyed them. They are a threat. They attract ancient evils. They bring chaos," Chancellor Xylos sighed. "And what would you have done, Korvax? Unleashed our fleet against an invisible enemy, against a ghost ship we could not even touch." Xyler slammed a fist on his throne's armrest. "Silence. We need answers, Dr. Alara. Focus your efforts. Find out what this great filter is. Find out who these ancient enemies are. This is no longer about the humans. This is about the Empire's survival. If this ancient evil still exists and the humans are drawing its attention, then we are all in danger." Back in the Cathar Nebula, the Pathfinder *S bridge was alive with frantic activity. The ancient human station glowed with an ominous internal light. "Captain, the energy surge is critical," Lena cried out. "It is building up to something, and the warning signal is repeating. The enemy searches." "Do not activate," Eva Rostova's face was grim. "We triggered it. We activated their ancient alarm system. We need to shut it down." Jax pounded a fist on a console. "How, Captain? We do not even know what it is." "And what is this enemy? More mythical creatures?" Eva shook her head. "No, Jax, this feels real. We are in the heart of humanity's deepest secret. The reason we scattered, the reason we hid." She looked at the giant, ancient station. It was still dark, but within a core of light pulsed, growing stronger with each passing moment. "Lena, can you interface with the station? Can you send a shutdown command?" Lena's fingers flew across her console. "I am trying, Captain. But the security protocols are ancient, multi-layered, designed to withstand a galactic invasion. It is like trying to defuse a bomb from 10,000 years ago without knowing the schematics." Suddenly, the station shuddered. A low, grinding sound resonated through the nebula, somehow reaching the Pathfinder S hull. Then, large sections of the station's exterior began to retract, revealing massive, non-functional weapon ports. "Captain, these are not just weapon ports," Lena whispered, her voice filled with terror. "These are interdimensional tier generators. They were designed to tear holes in space itself. And the energy signature is matching the one that caused the Great Filter. It is not just an alarm. It is a trap, or a weapon designed to lure and destroy this ancient enemy." Eva's mind raced. An interdimensional tier weapon. A weapon designed to defeat something that could cause a species to vanish. This was beyond anything the Empire could imagine, beyond anything humanity had used in millennia. This was a last resort, and it was about to go off. "Jax, prepare for emergency jump. We need to get out of here." "Lena, keep trying to shut it down." "Too late, Captain," Lena cried out. "The station is locking down. It is overriding all external commands. It is going to activate. And it is emitting a signal, a beacon, a lure." On the main view screen, the central core of the ancient station flared with an intense, blinding white light. The light pulsed, sending out waves of energy that rippled through the nebula. It was like a silent, powerful scream across the galaxy. Back on Aegis Prime Asterisk, Admiral Valerius and General Kyler watched in horror as the sensor readings from the Cathar Nebula exploded. "Admiral, what is that?" Nara, the young sensor officer, gasped, her antennae twitching uncontrollably. "The energy signature, it is off the charts. It is tearing through space itself, and a beacon." "A galactic beacons." Valerius felt his blood run cold. "It is drawing something, it is calling something here." Dr. Alara stumbled back from her console, her face pale. "This is it, Admiral, this is the Great Filter signal." The humans were not hiding, they were waiting. They were warning. This ancient station, it is a lure. It is calling out the entity that hunted them 10,000 cycles ago, and it is coming here. "To us." The silence in the command room was absolute. Then a new sensor reading, a faint blip, distant but growing, and its energy signature was unlike anything they had ever encountered. It was cold, it was predatory. And it was heading straight for the Cathar Nebula. General Kyler looked at Valerius, his face filled with despair. "Admiral, what do we do?" Valerius stared at the main view screen, at the faint, distant blip of the approaching horror. His empire, so vast and powerful, was suddenly so small, so vulnerable. And he knew, with a certainty that chilled him to the bone, that the Empire was about to meet its true match. And it was not the humans. The humans were merely the warning. On the Pathfinder S bridge, Eva Rostova watched the main screen. The ancient human station was now a blinding beacon. And on the tactical display, the faint blip of the approaching entity grew larger. "It is coming," she whispered. "The Great Filter, the enemy our ancestors fought, the one they hid from." Jax gripped the edge of his console. "We have to shut it down, Captain, or we will all be destroyed." Lena, still frantically working, cried out, "I have a pathway, a single fragile connection to the core. It is a failsafe, a last resort shutdown sequence." Eva's eyes narrowed. "Do it, Lena, full power, override everything, we need to close this gate." Lena nodded, her face grim with determination. Her fingers danced across the holographic interface, pushing past ancient firewalls, bypassing millennia-old security measures. The hum from the station intensified. The approaching blip on the tactical display was now clearly resolving. It was not a ship. It was a swirling vortex of energy, a tear in reality itself. It radiated an aura of pure, malevolent cold. It was the Predator, and it was almost here. Valerius on the invincible asterisk watched the horrifying display. He ordered the fleet into a defensive posture, but he knew it was futile. Their weapons would be useless. Their shields meaningless. Admiral, the beacon, it is affecting our systems, Nara cried out. Energy fluctuations, power surges, we are losing control. Imperial ships throughout the task force began to spark, their lights flickering, their systems failing. The vortex approached. It was not just an energy signature. It was a hunger, a cosmic void that consumed everything. Captain, I am in, Lena screamed, her face contorted with effort. Executing shutdown sequence. It is fighting me. The Pathfinder shuddered violently as the ancient station resisted Lena's commands. Energy arcs sparked across the station's surface. The vortex grew closer, its silent, cold maw ready to swallow the nebula, the fleet, and perhaps the entire sector. Eva looked at Lena, then at Jax. Her crew, the last hope of humanity, she knew what she had to do. Lena, you are doing great, keep fighting it. Jax, prepare a short-range warp, one jump, back towards Imperial space. We are going to bring this fight to them. Jax stared at her. Captain, are you serious? Lead this thing to the Empire. Eva's eyes burned with resolve. We warned them, they ignored us, now they will see, they will understand the true meaning of the Great Filter, and perhaps they will learn to fight with us. Or be consumed. Lena cried out, Captain, the shutdown is failing, the core is overriding me, it is designed to be permanent. Eva slammed her fist on the armrest of her command chair. Then we will make it permanent in another way. Jax, target the station's central core. Full power, all weapons, we are going to destroy it ourselves. Jax blinked. Destroy it, but it is our history, our ancient legacy. Eva's voice was firm. It is a danger, Jax. A trap for the galaxy, and we are not going to let our past destroy our future. Do it. Jax hesitated for only a moment, then nodded. Aye, Captain, targeting core. Weapons charged. The Pathfinder *S stealth systems disengaged, revealing its true, fearsome form to the universe. Its hidden weapon ports slid open. Energy built up within its conduits. The Imperial fleet watched in stunned silence as the small human ship, which had previously only danced around their attacks, now prepared to unleash its own destructive power. Admiral Valerius watched in disbelief. The human ship was not fleeing, it was attacking the ancient station. They are trying to destroy it, he bellowed, his voice raw. But why? What is that thing coming towards us? Dr. Alara pointed a trembling finger at her screen. Admiral, I have identified the vortex. The ancient records call it a void leviathan. It is a creature of pure entropy. It consumes life, energy, and even space itself. The void leviathan was now a terrifying, swirling mass, its leading edge just touching the Cathar Nebula. It was larger than any starship, larger than any fleet. It was a gaping maw of annihilation. The Pathfinder unleashed its volley. Not a spray of plasma, but a concentrated, pinpoint beam of pure, focused energy. It lanced out, striking the ancient station's core with impossible precision. The station shuddered, not with the hum of activation but with a screech of agony. Its internal light flickered, then dimmed. Lena, at her console, screamed, Captain, I am seeing massive power fluctuations. It is cracking, the core is destabilizing. The station groaned, a sound like a dying god. Then, with a deafening roar that vibrated through the very fabric of space, the ancient human station exploded. It was not a normal explosion. It was a ripple of pure energy, a shockwave that pushed against the void Leviathan. The Leviathan recoiled, its swirling vortex of darkness seeming to shrink, to falter. The cosmic horror had been interrupted. And the Pathfinder *, damaged but still intact, was caught in the fringes of the blast. On the invincible *, Valerius watched wide-eyed. They destroyed their own legacy. To stop that thing, the void Leviathan, though wounded, was not defeated. It surged forward, its cold hunger renewed, directly towards the Imperial fleet. The remnants of the station's explosion still radiated around it, but it was coming. Captain, the Leviathan is coming for us, Jax yelled as alarms blared on the Pathfinder *. Our shields are barely holding, we are taking damage. Eva Ristova gripped her command chair. Her face was grim, but her eyes held a fierce light. Jax, prepare to activate phase drive, short warp, take us to the nearest Imperial stronghold. She looked at Lena. Lena, can you get one last message out? To the Imperial fleet. Lena, coughing from the smoke on the bridge, nodded. Yes, Captain, one last burst. Eva's voice was steady. Tell them the Great Filter has arrived. It is not a myth, it is a hunger. We have given you a warning. Now we offer you a choice. Fight with us or be consumed. This is humanity's stand. The Pathfinder *, battered and scarred, shimmered once more and then vanished. It left behind a stunned Imperial fleet facing a cosmic horror they had never known existed. And in their collective minds, a single terrifying yet hopeful thought echoed, humanity. They were here, and they were ready to fight. Days later, the Asterisk Invincible limped back to Aegis Prime Asterisk. Admiral Valerius, his form slumped in exhaustion, ordered the immediate deployment of every available fleet. The Void Leviathan, wounded but still vast, was slowly advancing, consuming small, unpopulated systems on its way. Panic had spread throughout the Empire. News of the Great Filter and the Void Leviathan had leaked, shattering the Empire's facade of invincibility. Dr. Alara stood before the Emperor. Her voice was grave. Your Majesty, the human vessel Pathfinder vanished after destroying its ancient station, but its last message was clear. And its purpose, I believe, is equally clear. They are not asking for help, they are offering an alliance. They want us to fight beside them against this common enemy. Emperor Xyler paced the throne room, his imperial purple scales now a vibrant, fearful red. An alliance with a species we barely know. A species that nearly caused galactic annihilation by activating that thing. High Advisor Korvax slammed his fist on the table. This is their fault. They unleashed this monstrosity. We should contain it. Build a wall around it. Let it starve itself in empty space. General Kyler shook his head. Advisor, with all due respect, this creature consumes space itself. There is no containing it, and our weapons had no effect on it. The humans' weapon, the explosion of their ancient station, was the only thing that even slowed it down. Alara added, Your Majesty, the humans have proven they understand this threat better than we do. They destroyed a piece of their own history, a powerful weapon to slow it down. This shows not only their resolve but their deep knowledge of this enemy. They are survivors, they are practical. And they are willing to make difficult choices for the greater good, even for us. Emperor Xyler stopped pacing. He looked out the grand window at the throne world. The fear of his people was palpable, even through the thick palace walls. His reign, his empire, was on the brink of collapse. He had to make a decision that would define his legacy. Contact the Pathfinder Asterisk, he commanded, his voice surprisingly firm. Broadcast a galaxy-wide message. To all human settlements, if they exist, we accept their offer, we will fight. Alara's eyes widened, a flicker of hope in their depths. Your Majesty, this is a monumental decision. Xyler nodded. Indeed, and it means changing everything. We need to learn to adapt. The humans have shown us that true power is not just about conquest. It is about survival, it is about ingenuity, and it is about standing together against impossible odds. A week later, the Imperial Grand Fleet, a vast armada of 10,000 warships, gathered at the edge of the Cathar Nebula. Its sheer scale was awe-inspiring, but its mood was somber. The Void Leviathan, still scarred but advancing, was now a looming shadow on the galactic map. Then, a single battered ship shimmered into existence amidst the vast Imperial fleet. It was the Asterisk Pathfinder Asterisk. Its hull was scorched, its lights flickered, but it was undeniably there. On the bridge of the Pathfinder Asterisk, Eva Ristova looked out at the overwhelming Imperial fleet. Her crew was exhausted, but a quiet pride shone in their eyes. They came, Lena whispered, her voice filled with wonder. They actually came, Jax grunted. Took them long enough and they still looked terrified. Eva smiled faintly. Fear is a powerful motivator, Jax, and now they know what true terror is. We share a common enemy, that makes us allies. An Imperial hailing frequency opened. Admiral Valerius's image appeared on the Pathfinder Asterisk-S view screen. His face was etched with exhaustion, but there was a new glint in his 6 eyes. Respect. Captain Ristova, we received your message. We are here. We are ready to fight. Eva nodded. Good, Admiral. Because this creature, the Void Leviathan, it is not just a threat to your empire. It is a threat to all life. And humanity has a plan, a risky plan, but it is our only chance. Valerius looked grim. Tell us, Captain. We will follow your lead for now. Eva's gaze hardened. Admiral, our ancestors left behind more than just that station. They left behind knowledge of how to fight this thing. It is not just a creature. It is a disruption in the fabric of reality, and the only way to defeat it is to repair that tear, to stitch reality back together. General Kyler, standing beside Valerius, spoke up. How do we do that, Captain? With energy weapons? With kinetic bombardment? Eva shook her head. No, with something else entirely, something humanity learned from the void itself, a resonance frequency, a song that makes reality mend. It will require the combined power of your entire fleet, and our unique understanding of cosmic energies. It will be a gamble, a desperate, universe-altering gamble. The Imperial officers exchanged wary glances. A song to mend reality, it sounded like madness. Yet the humans had proven their capabilities. They had faced this threat before. Valerius took a deep breath. Tell us what you need, Captain. Every ship, every weapon, every available resource. The Empire will commit everything. Eva Rostova nodded, a grim determination setting in her eyes. Good, because this is not just about the Empire, this is about the galaxy. And humanity, the silent protectors, will show you how to fight for it. Within the Pathfinder Lena began to input complex calculations. She hummed softly, a tune her grandmother used to sing. It was an ancient human folk song, a song of resilience, a song of hope, and perhaps it was also the song that would mend the universe. The vast Imperial fleet began to shift formation, preparing for the impossible. They had faced invaders, rebels, and natural disasters, but never had they faced an enemy that consumed reality itself. And never had they placed their hope in such a small, enigmatic species, the humans. The galaxy had truly freaked out, and now the true fight for its survival was about to begin.